Hi everyone, good evening and welcome back to guided newspaper practice classes. Everyone who is watching us live, there is a playlist already containing so many of such similar classes that we organized over the pandemic. So you can check out that playlist as well. But if you're here for the first time, let me just help you understand how this class will go. So we will pick up a newspaper article, okay, and we'll help you understand the article, we'll help you understand some less common words and ask you to frame sentences. And towards the end of the class, we'll ask you to do some guided speaking. We'll ask you to repeat after us, and that will help you improve your speaking skills as well. And we will organize these classes every Friday, same time. Hi Naman, hi BG Social. And you can also subscribe to our channel so that you can receive alerts whenever we go live. Okay, so like I mentioned in the message that I sent, today's topic is about how EdTech startups in the education technology field are receiving funding because they are offering students an immersive experience. That's what the article is about, and I've left the link of this article for you to practice on your own as well. And this is picked up from LiveMint. Okay, hi. So if you're here, please just let me know on the chat so that we can get started and I can also address you. And when you frame nice sentences, I can also pin that message if you're here. Yes, great. Okay. All right, fine. So let's start with the class then. You are going to listen to me for a while, and as you listen, try to focus on the words that are being said. Try to focus and understand what the article is about. And if you can, also think about what your opinion is about such startups. Okay, so you will just listen to me for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and after that, we'll get to guided reading. Okay, pay attention. Now, the article goes like this. Venture capital investors are now looking to deploy capital in startups that are building businesses around immersive technologies after plowing close to $1.7 billion this year in EdTech alone. EdTech investments in India made a fourfold jump in 2020 from $409 million in the previous year as the pandemic pushed users to online education, according to data from Venture Intelligence. Experts believe immersive technologies which replicate the physical world digitally have a huge potential in EdTech. By putting users in a virtual world or augmenting a virtual subject in the real world, technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality make learning more fun, engaging, and lucid. In the absence of actual access to science lab, as schools remains closed, VR and AR come in handy for conducting practical classes. Products like GeoGlass, a wearable, can be used to offer VR classroom experiences for specific subjects and study requirements. Online learning is no longer just a replacement or supplement to classroom learning. Startups need to invest more in immersive technologies like VR that can improve learning outcome and reduce the drudgery of learning, says Siddharth Pai, founder and managing partner, Siana Capital Management. In the US and China, EdTech platforms offering classes in VR and AR have become popular with business and customers. Palo Alto-based Striver, which raised $30 million in a Series B funding in March, offers VR-based immersive training programs for the workforce. The company has Walmart, Verizon, BMW, and Visa among its clients. Shanghai-based Neobear, which develops AR-based toys and mobile apps to help children learn words and languages, has raised over $56 million. Indian startups offering immersive tech solutions also saw demand grow in global market after the virus outbreak. There's more. Bengaluru-based Play Shifu, which offers a variety of AR based immersive and educational toys for children aged 4 to 12 years, saw demand for its educational toys in the US triple in March to April. Play Shifu raised $4.4 million in July, reported INC42.com. Okay, hi Vasu, hi Bharat. Great. So, you guys understood what the article was all about. You read it along with me, you listened to me speak. So, I hope you understood what it is about, right? There is no difficulty there. Yes, social, Naman, Bharat, Vasu, you guys understood what the article said. Just leave a yes if you did. Okay, great. Great. Now it's time for us to read the article a little slowly and understand the sentences a little more in detail. Now, when you see the article, there were some less common words that were used, and it did not seem as if they were tough to understand as well. So let's just understand what these less common words were. Now, if you read the first sentence, now I'll just summarize the article for you as well. So, article tells that people who invest, the investors, in startups that are around AR and VR, that is giving students a real time experience on studies or maybe in practical activities or anything that involves academics or anything that involves play. You give that through a virtual medium. You make it look like it's real through technology. So that's called augmented reality or virtual reality. So it seems as if these lessons are playing in front of you, but there's actually technology that's enabling that. Okay, so such startups in the education technology field have received a lot of funding, have received a lot of growth. That's what the article talks about. And this is particularly true with the pandemic, especially because access to schools was not there. People were not able to visit offline centers to practically learn. So hence such startups received a lot of traction. That's the article. Okay. Now let's learn the sentences. Let's try and understand what these sentences mean. Now the first sentence says venture capital investors are now looking, venture capital as in money, people who fund ventures, companies. Investors are now looking to deploy capital in startups that are building businesses around immersive technologies. Deploy capital, put, okay, employ. So you are making something responsible, you are allocating something for someone. That is deploy. So when you say you are deploying your team outside India, you mean to say that you are employing, you're kind of giving that your team that responsibility to work outside of India. Okay, so when you allocate something, either employees, money, or any resources of sorts, that means you are deploying it. Okay, used in professional scenarios. So deploy capital in startups. In this case, you are pulling in money and giving that to startups that are building businesses around immersive technologies. Now, when you say immersive experience, you are trying to be as realistic as possible. That's immersive experience. So, immersive experience, 3D movies, you get immersive experience by putting on your glasses, or when you visit an amusement park and you kind of are made to sit in a whole hall and then your chair shakes and make it look as if you are experiencing the whole thing on the screen. That's immersive, and that's what they're talking about, such businesses. Okay, immersive technologies means that after plowing close to $1.7 billion in edtech alone. Plowing also means you are trying to grow that fund. Okay, as in you have grown and developed that close to $1.7 million. That's what plowing means. Okay, putting so that something develops. That's what plowing means. Okay, great. Now that's your first sentence. Now, edtech investments in India made a fourfold jump. Jumped four times or fourfold jump in 2020 from $409 million in the previous year as the pandemic forced users to online education, according to data from Venture Intelligence. Pushed. Okay, right? So it's not literally the push, it also means force someone to do something. Now, experts believe immersive technologies which replicate the physical world digitally. Replicate means to kind of give a feel that it is the same as something else. Replicate the physical world digitally. So you are trying to show the same thing that happens in physical world digitally, have a huge potential in edtech. So such startups or such technologies that try and replicate the real life experience have a huge potential in edtech. By putting users in a virtual world, imaginary world, or augmenting a virtual subject. Augmenting means to increase something, enhance something. So you're augmenting a virtual subject means, let's say you like any cartoon character and you try to make that as realistic as possible. That's called augmenting a virtual subject. Okay? In the real world, technologies like AR and VR make learning more fun, engaging, and lucid. Lucid means clear. You know what fun and engaging means. So people are paying more attention to lessons when they see that, when they are able to imagine what's being said in books, and that is also becoming close to reality. So it's basically attending whatever practical classes you had in a digital medium. That's what these startups are doing, and the sentence says that such learning makes learning more fun, engaging, and lucid. Okay, now in the absence of access to actual science labs as schools remain closed, VR and AR come in handy. Come in handy, great word that you can use for your speaking. Come in handy means come as help for conducting practical classes. Products such as GeoGlass, it's a virtual glass that you can wear, can be used to offer VR classroom experience for specific subjects and study requirements. This is very similar to what Facebook did as well. Facebook also launched something known as a Facebook Glass that you can wear and try and experience the digital world as if it's real. Okay, now online learning is no longer just a replacement or supplement. What is replacement? Anything that is a change. Now, supplement, addition to classroom learning. So it's not that. They feel that online learning is no longer that. Startups need to invest more in immersive technologies like VR that can improve learning outcome. So basically, whatever you are learning just becomes better with technologies like VR. When you see and feel what you learn, you are basically learning better, and reduce the drudgery of learning. Drudgery, the boringness. So basically, the whole routine thing about reading, imagining, and understanding goes away, and you're trying to reduce that burden by learning better. Okay, drudgery means something that is routine, something that's boring. That's what drudgery means. In the US and China, edtech platforms offering VR and AR have become popular with businesses and customers. Now, this is a company that raised, as in got so much money. Raised, as in it made sure that it received so much money in a round of funding. Offers VR based immersive training programs for the workforce. Staff, people, employees, that means workforce. This company, NeoBear, which develops AR-based toys and mobile apps. So toys and mobile apps in the digital medium for children to learn words and languages. And this one has raised, as in got, $56 million as funding. Now, Indian startups are also getting such traction, and this is one such startup which is called PlayShifu, and this develops AR-based educational toys for this age group of children, and saw its demand increase by triple in March to April. So this much money was raised by that startup. Okay, so the article talks about how such startups need to grow in number and how such startups are receiving traction in the venture capital industry. Okay, so now that you read the article with me, can you tell me some difficult words that you read, some words that you're coming across for the first time? Can you tell me such words on the chat? Yes, Manju, Vasu, Bharat, Naman, BG Social, whoever you are. Yes? Come on. Tell me some words that you learned today for the first time. Okay, I'm going to put them on the chat while you reply to me. Good. Spellings also very important. Jagdeep, good. Good that you learnt some new words, but I'm looking to understand what these words are. Good, Jagdeep. Very good. Good. Manju. Nice. I'm also putting these words on the chat for anyone who's watching this as a recording, or if you joined right now, you can see that these are the words that we learned from the art. Fourfold, yes, Dinesh. Good. Very good. Nice. Great. So now you know how you should develop vocabulary. So the more of such reading you do, the more words you learn. Simple. Right? And these words are not difficult to use also. They are just raised, also a great word. When you try to talk about funds or money, raise. So it's important that non-governmental NGOs raise a lot of money to help the poor. It's important to deploy skilled workers for such work. It's important to overcome the drudgery of your routine life by doing something different. Her class had such lucid explanations that this concept became clear. Exactly, Jagdeep, it helps in all modules. Immersive, exactly, Ria, Vasu, good job, all of you. Nice. So now we'll move ahead, we'll do some guided speaking, and then I'll ask you to frame sentences on your own. So what I'm going to do with guided speaking is I'm going to be a little slow with my speech, and I'm going to make sure that the stresses and all that are clear, and you are going to repeat that in the same way. Okay, all of you who are watching me, try to repeat the sentences, the words that I'm trying to say in the same fashion. Okay, and that way you are able to understand how you should improve your pronunciation in the speaking test. Because in your speaking test, what matters is not the length. Your length of the answers also matters, but what also matters is how you are speaking. Your speaking style needs to be good, and that will happen when you are reading articles like these aloud. Okay, so you're going to do that on your own. I'm not going to switch on mics or anything. It's just that you'll repeat whatever I say in the same fashion, or try and do that. Great. Okay, for the next 10 minutes, we'll just do that. Okay, great. Let's get started then. Venture capital investors are now looking to deploy capital in startups that are building businesses around immersive technologies. After plowing close to $1.7 billion this year in EdTech alone. Notice the raise and the fall in my voice when I start and end a sentence. Okay, moving ahead. EdTech investments in India made a fourfold jump in 2020. From $409 million in the previous year as the pandemic pushed users to online education. According to data from Venture Intelligence. Experts believe immersive technologies which replicate the physical world digitally have a huge potential in edtech. Potential, okay? By putting users in a virtual world, or augmenting a virtual subject in the real world, technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality make learning more fun, engaging, and lucid. In the absence of actual science labs, as schools remain closed, plural, remain closed, VR and AR can come in handy for conducting practical classes. Products such as GeoGlass, a wearable, anything that you can wear, can be used to offer VR classroom experiences for specific subjects and study requirements. Online learning is no longer just a replacement or supplement to classroom learning. Startups need to invest more in immersive technologies like VR that can improve learning outcome and reduce the drudgery of learning. In the US and China, edtech platforms offering classes in VR and AR have become popular with businesses and customers. Palo Alto based Striver, which raised $30 million in a Series B funding in March, offers VR-based immersive training programs for the workforce. The company has Walmart, Verizon, BMW, and Visa among its clients. Okay? Good. So you guys did it along with me? Did it with the same level of stresses, pauses after full stops, comma? Did you do it? Riya, Vasu, Jagdeep, Dinesh, Manju, Bharat, Naman. Did you guys do it? Good. Okay. Yes. So now we are going to do some writing. Okay. You saw all the words that we learned. You read this along with me and you learned the meaning of these words. Now, let me just recap. So, we learned deploy, which is used as a verb. It means to employ someone, you make someone responsible for something. Plowing is to make sure that thing develops by pulling in some resources. Immersive means something that's as close to reality as possible. That's immersive. Virtual, something that's imaginary. Drudgery, anything that's routine. That routine is basically drudgery. Boring, mundane, all of these have the meaning as drudgery. Lucid means something that is clear. Okay, fourfold means something that increased 4 times. That's very simple. Now, you are going to frame, I'm going to give you an easy word. You're going to frame your first sentence with lucid. Can you frame a sentence on your own with lucid? It's an adjective. So you will have to use it to describe a noun. Try framing a sentence with lucid now, all of you. Eternal motivation. Hi. Yes, your word for now is lucid. Frame a sentence with lucid, please. Try doing that on your. It's okay if you make mistakes, and it's good to help each other out right now. So do that, please. Okay. 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 Lucid, that's the word. Adjective used to describe means something that is really clear. That's what lucid means. Good, very good. Thank you, Siddharth. Lucid style of teaching, clear cut. Anything that's clear cut, that's called lucid. Any other sentences that we have for lucid? No one else wants to frame a sentence? Okay, let's move on to the next word then. Can you frame a sentence with deploy? Okay, Manju has a sentence now. Any more sentences coming? The article is lucid as to how much funding has been raised during the pandemic. Good sentence, Manju. Very good sentence. Book is lucid. Yes. Okay, we can't watch or read slides lucidly. You are using it as an adverb. Or the slides aren't lucid in online classes because of network issues. Okay, good attempt, Jagdeep. Very good attempt. Let's move on to the next word. Okay, Russia deployed its troops. Yes, deploy. Deploy is the word. It means to allocate resources to some kind of a task or an activity. That's the word. It's used as a verb. It's an action of doing or allocating resources. So try framing a sentence with deploy, all of you. Siddharth already has a sentence. Russia deployed its troops near the Ukrainian border. That's the sentence. Anyone else who has a sentence with deploy? So lucid is an adjective. Deploy, on the other hand, is a verb. Come on. Deploy. Siddharth has used the verb in its past tense. but you guys can do it in the present tense also or in the future tense too. Try doing it. Yeah. Take a look at an example. Please deploy a customer service executive to answer the query. It means to allocate this service to this query to this executive so that the query gets resolved. That's the meaning of deploy. Good, Dinesh. Very good sentence. Doesn't really allow me fully to deploy my skills. To deploy my skills fully comes after. Good one, Dinesh. Very good sentence. When you say it with the right kind of stress, it makes a better impact. Good. Okay. Wonderful. So now let's move ahead. Let's move ahead with the class, and let's do the last part of the class, which is to frame opinions. Now this is useful in your speaking, this is useful in your writing as well, to allow you to think of ideas. So when you read more of such articles, your opinions almost already get formed and you are able to think better because you have examples handy, right? Okay, so let's just do and answer this question. What kind of education companies do you think should receive funding? Yes. Good sentence again, Siddharth. Okay, that's my question to you. Very commonly asked in writing task 2 or speaking. This is your question again. I'm pinning that question. Yes, replacing my pin. What kind of education companies do you think should receive funding? So what kind of companies should get support? Do you think should receive funding? That's my question. Okay, and your answer can be anything. I'm not giving you clues, but think and frame a sentence. Don't give me a one phrase answer. Frame a sentence and give me an answer on the chat. Feel free to use the words that you learned today, but but just try to frame complete sentences as an answer to the idea. Good work. Deploy spelling, eternal motivation, lucid way of working, or to believe in lucid way of working in regional areas to develop overall terrain to encourage. Okay, did not understand that sentence completely, but try answering the question for me. What kind of education companies do you think should receive funding? Try to frame a sentence. It's always good to frame a sentence, think of a reason, and give an example. That's the structure that you follow if you have to elaborate your ideas. Come on, do it. Okay. Anyone who has an answer to that question, think and post your answer. Great. Okay, so while you post that sentence, while you post the sentence as your answer, let me talk about the other classes that I conduct and how you can access them. So you know that we conduct master classes twice a week and you get these alerts on WhatsApp and on email, right? So master classes happen Wednesdays and Sundays on different topics of the IELTS test, and sometimes I do these live classes as well on YouTube. So subscribe to my channel and also follow the WhatsApp group, the link to which will be there in the description of this video in a while. And if you want to be coached by me, if you're not yet in my paid coaching programs, some of you here are already, but if you want to be coached by me, you can fill up the admissions form. Now, I'll also leave that link for you to express interest. Now, you can check the coaching program out. The admissions form has all the details, and you'll be contacted by my team, and we'll help you understand what your needs are. Okay, so this coaching program also has evaluations, classes, solving doubts with me, and also having pre-recorded lessons for you to learn from. Okay, great. So that's it for today's guided newspaper class. Siddharth, good sentence again. I'm just looking for more people to respond in the chat. If you are hesitant, you can maybe send it, at least try to think of ideas on your own, and I'll be back with another newspaper article next week. Okay, great. So you can also watch the other videos on this playlist that we did a couple of years back, and of course join me live again next week. Bye bye, have a good weekend.